mainstream is the common current thought of the majority. It includes all popular culture and media culture, typically disseminated by mass media. The opposite of the mainstream are subcultures, countercultures and cult followings. It is often used as a pejorative term by subcultures who view ostensibly mainstream culture as not only exclusive but artistically and aesthetically inferior. In the United States, mainline churches are sometimes referred to synonymously as mainstream. Also known as straight, and straights for individuals. In film, mainstream films are films that are distributed to movie theaters which give these films wide releases. However, the definition of a mainstream film can vary by country. For example, a mainstream film from China wouldn't be considered a mainstream film in India. But from a global perspective, mainstream films could be defined as Hollywood films, because it is these films which make up the majority of the most widely distributed films in the world. This makes Hollywood films the worldwide mainstream. In the media, mainstream media, or mass media, is generally applied to print publications, such as newspapers and magazines that contain the highest readership among the public, along with radio formats and television stations that contain the highest viewing and listener audience, respectively. This is in contrast to various independent media, such as alternative media newspapers, specialized magazines in various organizations and corporations, and various electronic sources such as podcasts and blogs, though certain blogs are more mainstream than others given their association with a mainstream source. In music, mainstream music denotes music that is familiar to the masses, as for example pop music, middle-of-the-road music, pop rap or pop rock. Opposing mainstream music is the music of subcultures. This exists in virtually all genres of music and is found commonly in punk rock, indie rock, alternative underground hip-hop, anti-folk and heavy metal, among others. In the 1960s this music was exemplified by the music of the hippie counterculture. In science, mainstream science is scientific inquiry in an established field of study that does not depart significantly from orthodox theories. In the philosophy of science, mainstream science is an area of scientific endeavor that has left the process of becoming established. New areas of scientific endeavor still in the process of becoming established are generally labeled proto-science or fringe science. A definition of mainstream in terms of proto-science and fringe science can be understood from the following table. By its standard practices of applying good scientific methods, mainstream is distinguished from pseudoscience as a demarcation problem, and specific types of inquiry are debunked as junk science, cargo cult science, scientific misconduct, etc. In sociology, mainstream pressure, through actions such as peer pressure, can force individuals to conform to the mores of the group. Some, such as those of modern hipster culture, have stated that they see mainstream as the antithesis of individuality. In religion, mainstream Christianity is a term used to collectively refer to the common views of major denominations of Christianity as opposed to particular tenets of other Christian denominations. The context is dependent on the particular issues addressed, but usually contrasts an orthodox majority view against a heterodox minority view. In the most common sense, mainstream refers to Nicene Christianity, or rather the traditions which continue to claim adherence to the Nicene Creed. Mainstream American Protestant churches are a group of Protestant churches in the United States that have stressed social justice and personal salvation, and both politically and theologically, tend to be more liberal than non-mainstream Protestants. Mainstream Protestant churches share a common approach that often leads to collaboration in organizations such as the National Council of Churches, and because of their involvement with the ecumenical movement, they are sometimes given the alternative label of ecumenical Protestantism. While in 1970 the mainstream Protestant churches claimed most Protestants and more than 30% of the American population as members, as of 2009 they are a minority among American Protestants, claiming approximately 15% of American adults. Education. Mainstreaming is the practice of bringing disabled students into the mainstream of student life. Mainstream students attend some classes with typical students and other classes with students that have similar disabilities. Mainstreaming represents a midpoint between full inclusion and dedicated, self-contained classrooms or special schools. Gender mainstreaming. The difference of male and female, in the sense that human beings are distinguished as non-conformant. Etymology. The term mainstream refers to the principal current of a river or stream. Its figurative use by Thomas Carlyle to indicating the prevailing taste or mode is attested at least as early as 1831. References